Welcome, ladies and gents. We are back. So today we will be summarizing a video from our boy New World Review. We are going to be talking about the top 10 most powerful characters in Hunter x Hunter. Just a disclaimer which I want to give before we dive straight into the video. It's the fact that obviously there might be a character who you think is good but might not be on the list, and it will be because probably their powers haven't been expanded to an extent whereby we'll be able to properly gauge how powerful they are. So yeah, with the disclaimer out of the way, let's dive straight into it. The first person who will be speaking about is our boy Hisoka. Yeah, we know his power has both the properties of rubber and gum. So you can imagine why he's strong, because when we are looking at another character from another manga, One Piece, we know how devastating rubber can be. And when it comes to gum, the fact that it's sticky and all of that, you can imagine all gooey. So yeah, you can see how strong he is. And the fact that the defeat which was prevalent was from one of the members who is on this list, and it came after a long time of fighting him and using different abilities in order to finally defeat him. He was actually defeated by a specialist using multiple abilities, and the fact that he still was able to revive himself shows how much Nen he has mastered, or how much Nen abilities he has mastered. Doing the post-mortem Nen, it's not something which anyone can easily do. So yeah, you can imagine why he's here on the list, but we are starting with him being number 10. Oh, by the way, before I forget, imagine even after the post-mortem Nen, we know that it actually enhances a person's abilities to a far more powerful extent than they already were, and that's why it will be a little bit more difficult to kill him again now. So on our number 9 list, we will have to talk about Grandpa Zeno. Yeah, and I'm sure you all can see, in terms of his intelligence and in terms of him deciphering when he was fighting against Krollo, how he deciphered how his Nen technique works. It shows a lot of intelligence behind that. Even Krollo admitted that he's very smart and a little bit cunning. And the fact that he uses a dragon to attack people, just using a dragon on its own, I don't know how you view it. Anyone who can use a dragon is definitely strong. Am I lying? I think everyone can get behind that. But yeah, Zeno is here on the number 9 list, or on the number 9 level of the list. On the number 9 stand of the list, we have Krollo. I'm not sure about how much I agree with this. I think he might have been a little bit more higher on the list than where he is within the list which New World Review has made. But yeah, obviously we know that Krollo is a specialist. He can use multiple Nen abilities, but there's obviously a downside to that. And the downside is the fact that there are multiple conditions he has to meet before he still summons Nen ability. But remember, he still has other Nen abilities which he can use from other people, which is why I would have put him a little bit higher on the list. But also at the same time, I think I get his point in terms of why he is on this list, or he's way low on the list. And I think it's basically because of what we saw when he was fighting against Hisoka. But at the same time, because he fought against Killua's dad and Zeno Zoldyck, and those guys are very proficient Nen masters. He fought both of them at the same time. So you can imagine for him to keep up with them, even though the fight ended with a stalemate, but you can see why I would think that he will have been a little bit high on the list, but he's number 8. Number 7, it's our boy Poof. You had to have guessed that the Chimera Ants, especially the Royal Guards, will for sure be on the list. But when we are looking at Poof, the fact, okay, he's a manipulator, so that's and his techniques are a little bit more dangerous. The fact that he can sense people's emotions and what they want to do, and the fact that he's also intelligent on top of that, him as a strategist actually puts him far above, on this list. And there is one thing which I also want to mention, because the Camera ends, the royal guards actually have a large quantity of Nen aura. In terms of their aura, they just have an immense quantity. So them using their techniques will not exhaust them more than like a regular human. If you're a regular human, you'll have to be way powerful to actually be able to match them. The other thing which I want to mention, even though he might be a little bit frail compared to the other royal guards and compared to the King Meruem, but at the same time, he's still robust and strong. So the endurance could definitely be there. So yeah, Poof is here on the number 7 list. We also now have another Chimera end on the number 6 rank, and that is UP. Yeah, and it makes sense. Hey, UP is very strong. He's very strong. He's dumb, but he's very strong. And he can take a lot of punishment. You can beat him however you want to beat him. And yeah, he will just, especially when it comes to his anger or his rage, he turns it into power. He's almost like the Hulk, a little bit dumb, but when something happens to him which pisses him off, the stronger he becomes. So yeah, you can imagine sometimes, even when you're intelligent, if you fight a brood who just keeps on coming, you'll eventually get exhausted, and somehow your strategies will stop working. So yeah, that's why UP is here on this list on the number 6th rank. Now on the number 5 spot, so this is halfway or straight in the middle, it's Pito. Like I said, the royal guards, the Chimera and royal guards, that they would all be on this list. And yeah, it's Pito. Pito, she or he, I'll just say she or he, is a specialist. Let me just say she more, because she looks like a she for the most part. Might be a he, but yeah, I'll just say she. Looks like is definitely very strong, and yeah, is a specialist. So she can use manipulation techniques. She even also managed to use post-mortem Nen after she fought Gon. So she, like I said, for someone to be able to use that level of Nen, they have to be very strong. And yeah, I mean, before the chairman Netro fought Pito, it was said that she has more Nen aura than him. Even her N was something else to be feared. So you can imagine. And on top of that, considering how old Pito was and the proficiency which she managed to get within that span of time, you can see the potential would have been way high. So yeah, this is definitely one of those strong Nen users. So on the number 5 spot is Pito. Now breaking into below the top 5 on the number 4 list, it's Isaac Netero. Yo, this guy, guys. And you can imagine in his prime how strong he was. I mean, better than how he acted within the Chimera end arc. His strength had already dwindled, but to an extent, you saw his performance. It was very immense. Even though they said Pito might have more aura than him, we saw when he actually gave Pito a slap and said that she made a huge mistake. Even it means that even when it comes to intelligence, he's there high in the echelon. So you can imagine if he had fought against Pito, I think he would have destroyed her. I mean, in comparison to the performance which we saw with him fighting with Meruem, yeah, we saw. And his Buddha statue, the one which he summons, we saw the amount of techniques which it can unleash are unlimited. So it will be difficult for one to break through the patterns of the Buddha statue, let alone defeat Netero. It will take a lot, someone way strong. So yeah, Netero on number 4. Oh, before I forget, remember the fact that also Netero is the chairman of the Hunter Association. So you have to be on a certain level of power for you to be able to be the chairperson of people who are egotistical and very, very strong and are willing to do things which are not not very, very morally right or ethically right, and be able to keep some in check, not all of them, but some in check. So you can imagine, and he has once went to the dark continent, I think twice, if I'm not mistaken. And it takes something for someone to be able to survive a trip to the dark continent. Now, breaking into the top three, it's our boy on the number 3 spot. It's Adult Gone. Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one, having to choose between Netro and Gon. But I'll see why. I mean, Pito had that fear of, if Gon was to go to the king, he's one of those who are promising to put his fangs towards the king, maybe break the defense which the king has. And we saw for Netero to be able to leave minor scratches to King Meruem, he had to use all of his aura. But I don't think Gon will have to use all of his aura to be able to defeat or to leave a scratch, minor scratches towards the king. Because we also, like, he made light work of Pito, if we are being honest. He didn't have to hit Pito with a lot of punches and kicks. He was just like pa 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 pa, and then it was over. So it makes sense why. But I'm sure Pito would have survived multiple strikes from Chairman Netro. I think that's why Gon is this high on the list. Yo, guys, and on the number 2 spot, which I thought maybe he will be on the number 1 spot, but on the number 2 spot is our boy Kim Meruem. And Kim Meruem, guys, he is too overpowered. I mean, when he started taking the fight between himself and Netro, seriously, he just ended up like chopping off his leg and his arm, like, and even breaking his defensive barriers. I think Netro was never able to break his defensive barriers. The reason King Meruem died is because a nuclear bomb fell, and then he didn't die from the nuclear bomb, but the after effects, the radiation, the poison from the radiation. So he wasn't defeated in a conventional way whereby we'll say it's natural. It's just poison which was in the sky when the nuke or after the nuke actually blasted away. So yeah, you can imagine. And considering the fact that even after the fight, when he got the abilities of UP and Poof, the strength had increased from when he fought Netro. And I think to an extent, he made light work of Netro. If we are just being honest, guys, just look at it. He made light work of Netro, and then he got more stronger post the bomb striking him and him gaining the abilities from both Pito. Why am I saying Pito? UP and Poof. So yeah, our boy Meruem is on the number 2 spot. Yeah, on the number 1 spot, and this sort of like makes sense to an extent, it's Aluka / Nanika. So I don't think Kim Meruem will get around Aluka / Nanika because of the amount of power which they have. And the power which they have is just wishing for anything the person who wishes wants to be done. Did I say that properly? I think English is leaving me. Yeah, she can actually just grant any wish. She's like a Dragon Ball, except for you have to comply with 3 of her wishes. And if your wish is severe, next time she will start asking for crazy things which are on the same level as what you have asked for, unless you're Killua. But yeah, and if you can't grant, if she asks for something and you can't give it to her, and you ask it for about 4 times, is it 4 times or 3 times? I think it's about 4 times. Then you'll just disappear or you'll die, and the people who are closer to you will also die. So it's more like a chain effect. So you can imagine how immensely someone strong as her is. And the fact that Gon, when he was cast from getting all of that power and then now be in a state which is far worse than death. The fact that every top exorcist actually had to run away from even seeing the cursed state of Gon, and that Aluka slash Nanika was able to uplift the curse, it's something else. And on top of that, she is considered a creature from the Dark Continent. If people such as Silva, Zoldyck consider you as a monster, you can imagine how strong you are and how they had to lock Aluka slash Nanika from interacting with people because they just knew it's too dangerous to let her roam freely. Yeah, so that's on the number 1 spot. And thank you guys for tuning in. Bye.